live with the one and only Tom Loeffler. So Tom, two-city press tour. I mean, this seems bigger than David Lemieux, at least in the U.S., bigger than Kell Brook. Why just two cities? Why not a little more with the Miracle Man himself right here?
Well, this is definitely the biggest fight of both Gennady and Danny's career, and naturally the most dangerous fight for both their career. But we've gotten a tremendous response since we announced it. New York, here, the support from MSG and all the media, and the LA fans are waiting to see both Danny and Gennady. So we feel that the two-city tour, the two coasts, are going to work for this. We are going to do 24/7 for this, so it's definitely going to highlight both fighters. So we have a big investment in the promotion for this fight.
I asked because obviously he goes by the moniker of Mexican style. You guys frequently visited Jerry Jones in the Cowboy Stadium. I just thought maybe that would make a little sense to garner a little more Texican Mexicans.
Yeah. No, this. I mean, the two coasts will be good for this, but you know, both guys are committed to promoting the fight, and they're both very willing to do media interviews. So you'll definitely see a lot of quotes, a lot of interviews, a lot of videos out there for the promotion. That's a great thing when you have two fighters, two champions, willing to promote, not actually get in the ring, but actually promote the fight at the same time. That's going to make a huge difference for this promotion.
As a promoter, what would you say are the differences between Daniel Jacobs and David Lemieux in terms of the promotion? Like, why would this one be bigger? You already said that it's doing better in ticket sales because Danny's from Brooklyn, but what other elements does Danny bring that makes this a bigger fight than Gennady's first pay-per-view?
Danny's just had so much more exposure here in the United States on premium cable, on different television outlets. Look, when you have such a great record, 12 knockouts in a row, he had the first round knockout over Peter Quillen. I mean, that brings a lot of cachet with it, a lot of recognition, a lot of fanfare, and he's got a great fan base. And then when you mix that together with what Gennady's accomplished, it's a great promotion. And you know, as we said, the ticket sales are above where they were the last time Gennady fought Lemieux here, but Danny, as far as his awareness, is the biggest, especially here in the United States, is the biggest name fighter, and clearly the biggest test for Gennady. And you can say the same thing for Danny, where Gennady is the biggest name fighter and the biggest test for Danny. And that's really what the fans are looking at, is that these are the two best fighters in the middleweight division fighting each other, which you don't see very often these days.
Now, I hate to think ahead of this being Gennady Golovkin's most dangerous opponent, but you're a promoter. Gennady is a business. Most recently, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. has been negotiating with Canelo, but things haven't been going his way. He came out about 24 hours or 48 hours ago and on his Instagram said that the winner of this fight, he's willing to do 50-50. Seems like he's come to his senses and realized he's fallen from graces. He's ready to negotiate. Is him saying 50-50 in social media enough to get a Golovkin fight? He did mention 168 though.
For Chavez?
Yes.
I mean, Chavez, Gennady's always wanted to fight Chavez, and that's really Abel's dream, is to put a fight together with Chavez Jr. because he's based Gennady's style on Chavez Sr. So we have a lot of respect for Junior, and naturally the icon of Chavez Sr. That would be a great promotion, but you know, Abel and Gennady are 100% focused on Danny Jacobs. Any plans that I make in the future go completely out the window unless Gennady wins on March 18th, and Danny's very hungry. Danny wants to prove that he's the best middleweight out there. He saw all of Gennady's belts on one side of the table, and if Danny wins, he's got the opportunity to win all those belts. There's no rematch clauses. This is for all the marbles, and that's what the fans realize. They realize the risk going into this fight, and I think whoever wins the fight, then it opens up the doors for massive fights in the future.
But you as a promoter, I mean, which way do you look moving forward if Gennady gets past this? Is Chavez the bigger name if you can't get Canelo?
I think the past experience with Gennady is really the biggest fight is whoever will actually sign the contract to get in the ring with him. I think Canelo is a great fight. I think Chavez Jr. is a great fight. So again, if he wins March 18th, then I think it'll open up a lot of doors for getting bigger names. into the ring. But right now, as I said, Danny is the biggest name that Gennady's fought, both in danger, knockout power, and from a marketability standpoint. Danny has a great story, what he's accomplished both inside the ring, his battles inside the ring, and clearly outside the ring. You know, when he's a cancer survivor, you know, there's really nothing that he's afraid of when you compete the biggest battle that he's gone through. And I think the backstories of both fighters and just the respect that they show and the fact that they're great representatives of the sport of boxing, that takes this promotion to a completely different level.
Well, obviously that's one that we'll have to wait and see March 18th. But most recently, you've been quoted saying that Eubank Jr. is still an option for you. How excited are you and optimistic are you for his pay-per-view on February to do well versus Ronald Quinlan? Because maybe he can entice Gennady back to the UK. You guys did big business with Kell Brook. The Eubank family feels Hearns was in the way of Gennady and Eubank doing business. Are you optimistic that they do well on that pay-per-view, which is a new venture for ITV?
Look, you know, we don't rule anyone out for future opponents for Gennady. We've had such a hard time in the past. Look, we had you know, Eddie put out a big offer for Eubank to fight last year. So, you know, it's just one of those things that we're focused on March 18th. If Eubank wins that fight, if it's successful, I mean, we wish every promotion that it does well, because the better other promotions do, the better it is for the sport of boxing. We try to put on the best product we can, you know, for Gennady and for the shows. And with this show, with the Danny Jacobs, Chocolatito is on the show. He's fighting his mandatory against Sisterket. So we feel the way the tickets are priced and the pay-per-view that this it provides a lot of value for the fans in the sport of boxing. But we never rule out any opponent in the future just because you don't know what's going to happen in the future.
Modesty is a good thing, so I don't expect you to be cocky, but do you feel that you should be in the running for at least Promoter of the Year, or for this year? Right now you just put together a pay-per-view, you're going to have a huge fight with Vladimir Klitschko and Joshua. I mean, and who knows what's to come in September if all goes well. Is it time K2 and Tom Loeffler start getting those accolades?
Well, you know, it's not really about the accolades. It's about putting the best fights and the biggest shows together. I mean, you mentioned Vladimir Klitschko versus Anthony Joshua. I mean, you talk about, you know, the historic career that Vladimir has had, and then you have the young up-and-coming guy with Anthony Joshua. Vladimir is extremely confident in that fight. He's anxious to get his titles back. At the same time, Anthony Joshua would have never taken the fight if he didn't think he could win the fight. So there you have two forces in the heavyweight division coming together. I mean, that's, you know, it's one thing to sell out Madison Square Garden when you're talking about Wembley Stadium with 90,000 people. That just takes things on a completely different level. But that's you know, heavyweight championship boxing, and I think that'll be the best matchup that we've seen in the heavyweight division for a long time.
Now, how do you feel about that as Vladimir's promoter? I mean, this guy's defended those titles for 12 years. He has one loss versus a very tall, athletic boxer that uses the ring, and now he's a 2-1 underdog versus an 18-0 newly crowned champion.
Yeah, it's hard to go with the odds on any of these fights. Again, that's one of those things, Ron. Okay, that's one of those matchups that both guys are very confident of winning. Just like this fight here with Danny and Gennady. I mean, I've seen some of the odds with Gennady being a big favorite, but you know, when you have two big punchers, and look at Anthony Joshua also. I mean, he's got a 100% knockout ratio, and Vladimir is one of the biggest punchers ever in the heavyweight division. When you have those two types of forces colliding, you can't predict. It's hard to predict who the winner is going to be. And ever since Vladimir lost his titles, he's been driven to get back in the ring and have an opportunity to prove that he's still the best heavyweight in the world.
Will you have any plans to take Gennady to watch this fight live? Would he be viewing this one?
We'll see how everything goes March 18th, but he has expressed interest, him and his team has expressed interest to be at that event. I mean, that's going to be a tremendous event for everyone to be at. So I wouldn't be surprised if he makes a trip to Wembley Stadium to be there.
So last question, any new K2 signings that we should know about, new guys coming up that you've signed that haven't been under the spotlight that we should keep our eye out for?
Well, Lucic just had the HBO debut on the Bernard Hopkins show in LA. He defended his WBO cruiserweight title. He's considered as the best cruiserweight in the world right now. Cecilia Brækhus is fighting January 28th in Oslo, Norway. She's defending her mandatory, her WBC mandatory against Clara Svensson. That's a great fight. Cecilia is considered the best pound-for-pound fighter. Again, Chocolatito is going to be on the show here, so we're just trying to put on the best fights that we can. We don't work with a lot of fighters, but the quality of fighters is pretty much undeniable, and that's what we really focus on is picking people that really can embody the sport of boxing and take it to a different level.
Now, I heard a rumor that Usyk was either lobbying or interested in Fresno Shannon Briggs. Would he be looking to make a move up if the opportunity arose with those two particular fighters?
I haven't really heard that, but we'll see. I mean, Usyk is a very big cruiserweight. He's got a big frame. He's 6'3", very solid, and so I could see him, if the right opportunity takes place or presents itself, to make a move to the heavyweight division. But I haven't heard any of those rumors. I don't think that move to heavyweight would happen anytime soon.
All right, Tom. Well, thank you very much,
All right,
and enjoy your time in New York.